I mean, look at the weather. I wanted to go on a bike ride today, but it's just not stopping. Although it looks pretty good for the next few days. I think the weather looks good for the weekend and most of next week, which means it's probably going to be horrible for our Alton Park trip. But there we go. Right, guys, the reason for today's video, it's a bit of a video for you guys to help me if you can. I'm having a bit of a moment today with the wheels for the E30. Now, I know it's a little bit premature worrying about it. Shell's not even done, certainly nowhere near painted. So you would have thought the wheels would be the last thing on the list, which they pretty much are. But as we know, with all the things that we've had to get made and ordered, etc., with this car, you're looking weeks and weeks and weeks before you get anything. And what I don't want to do, obviously, because we want this car, we need this car for, at the very latest, the beginning of next spring, all complete. So I need to plan, because I can't get to Christmas and need something that's going to take 3 months to come. Can't do it, because you know that 3 months then turns to 4 or 5 months. So at the moment, unfortunately, that's the way it is with this car and a build like this. To be honest, even if we get it done for the beginning of spring, I think we've done pretty well. I think we've got the whole car done in under a year, which is pretty good. You know, I know people that are doing projects like this 5 years down the line, they still haven't finished it. So I think we've done really well, but I'm getting myself in a bit of a tiz about these wheels. Now, if I just go into the office, I'll show you exactly what I'm getting in a bit of a tiz about. Now, for all you guys that know me, you do know that I can be a little bit anal, a little bit OCD, and obviously with my anxiety, etc., I can get myself in a bit of a state over things that you don't really need to get into a state about. But what's bugging me about this car is obviously with the extent to which we've gone to with the car. Originally, when we bought it off Malcolm, it's originally a 320. It's got 325 running gear, etc., like the back axle and that. But now we are going pretty much full on M3, although it isn't an M3, and I know a lot of people have commented before saying, look, it ain't an M3, never is going to be an M3, it might be a replica, but we have spent quite a lot of time and money on this car, and by the time it's finished, it's going to owe a fair bit. So something is just niggling at me to change it to 5-stud. Because obviously the original M3s were 5-stud. Now, if we come to sell the car, they're not 4-stud. It's just going to, I know what I'm like, it's just going to irritate the hell out of me. So I need to either change it to centre lock hubs, which is obviously our main sort of path that we want to go. But fortunately, having spoke to Wayne Greattricks, he's put me onto a company called Image Wheels that they make their own 3-piece cast or billet wheels, and they also do a bolt-on centre lock hub kit that they make bespoke with your wheels. Now, the reason I haven't ordered any of these wheels is 2 reasons. One, I'm unsure. Although, I know you're going to laugh at this or just think I'm completely stupid. Although they're a bolt-on kit, and once the wheels are on and everything and the hubs are on, it doesn't make no difference. They're then centre lock. They're still bolted onto 4-bolt hubs, which they ain't M3, and that's just going to drive me nuts. So there's 3 routes we could go here, well, probably more than that. One, the suspension that's on it is coilover. It's a 2-way coilover competition kit, which is about 15 years old. It's a KW kit, and it is pretty good. Now, I drove the car before, obviously around Castle Combe, and to me, it felt absolutely lovely. Whether it's going to feel any different because it's got this heavier engine going in it, slightly heavier, and obviously with all the cage and that is stiffened up, we're going to have to make some adjustments, but it's got adjustable top mounts, all the rest of it. It's just E30 setup. So I spoke to KW and said, look, is there a way of you making your spindles, which they do for the M3, and fitting them to our suspension? He said, no, we can't do that. We can service your suspension and we'll do it for a great fee of about 600 quid. So an option is to send our current suspension up, get that serviced, obviously get it all cleaned up and re-anodized, etc. What we're going to do, and because it is good suspension, keep it 4-stud, and then get the centre lock hubs and wheels made. We could change the suspension completely. KW will do their own suspension now, which is a 3-way competition with the spindles for the M3 hubs, which are 5-stud. The rear is 325 with adjustable arms, etc. already, and you can just change the hubs to the M3 ones, which BMW do. So that's the back's no problem. It's just the front. The geometry doesn't matter, being different on the M3 to the E30, because we've got adjustable top mounts, etc. We can do that how we want to do it, not a problem. So it just seems to me quite a lot of money, or a waste of money really, just for the sake of changing the whole suspension just to be 5-stud. So the wheels that Image do are these here. So those there are like a 17x9, which we'll probably be running on the back. They're an original BBS, I think. Obviously they're astronomical, but they're the original centre, and they're the original centre lock hubs that go on them. Now these are the ones that BBS do, or they do several different types, which, you know, bear in mind these are going to be centre lock. The good thing about these is, being 3-piece, you can have the centre protruding where you want, so you give them all the measurements going off your original hubs. You can have the dish on the outside as deep as you want compared to the face. You can have the rear as deep as you want. So you could have them staggered on the back, say 1/2 inch compared to the front, and have the faces. So pretty much you could have them looking just like the original BBSs. I am going to speak to them in the morning to see whether, because they make the hubs, the centre lock hubs with the wheels, whether he can just do away with the bolt on and make, so we could do away with the original hubs and just make them so they bolt on to the original spindles. So it's just a one-piece centre lock hub, the same as what the original Group A ones would have been, I would have thought. That would eliminate our issues of worrying what stud pattern it is. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they would do that. But I just want to ask you guys what you think, whether you would just keep it 4-stud, whether you would convert to 5-stud all round, run the 5-stud wheels, or whether you think the centre lock hubs and 3-piece wheels are the option you would go for. The only reason, because Wayne Greatrix put me onto Image, the only reason really I would be tempted with these is because the wheels, including the centre lock hubs, are about 3.5 grand. So I know it's still a 3.5 grand, but it's quite cheap compared to what the original BBS ones would be with their hubs. I think the original hubs are about 10 grand for 4 of them. So that is obviously a no-go. But yeah, that's my predicament for today, guys. It's, as I say, we're a bit far away yet, but Mikey is cracking on with the car. He sent me some photos yesterday. He's cracking right on with the front. I think he's offered up the front panel. He's done quite a lot of work there. So he reckons that he's going to have the car for about another 6 weeks, realistically, which is fine. That's going to run into the middle of October. We need that car back with the rear arches on. So as soon as I get it back, I can get it measured up, and whatever route we go on the wheels, if we go with these Image ones, we can give them the dimensions, get them ordered, because they say that they're more than likely at the moment going to be about 10 weeks, which is going to run into October, November, December. That could be the end of December at the very least, but you've got to account for time on top of that. So that could run into end of January, but we certainly don't want to leave it any later. So the plan is, at the minute, get the car back from Mikey. As soon as that's back, we can get, and the orders in for the wheels, we can get it all sort of dummy built, what we're going to do up on the ramp, take the suspension off, etc., and get it all serviced and clean and whatever. Then get the shell over to me mate who's going to paint it, etc., and we can get that done hopefully in a couple of months, 2-3 months, and the car, no reason why the car shouldn't be built by the end of the winter. So that's the plan, guys. Had a bit of a headache over that today. I know you're probably going to say ain't worth worrying about, Lee, but time flies on, you know what it's like, and I don't want to get to the sort of end of the winter and realise that we've got another 3 months ahead of us with it. So yeah, we've got big plans for it next year. We need to be out. We need to be doing shows, doing track days, and getting our name out there, getting to meet a few of you guys, and so you can see the car and the work that's gone into it and that. You know, this car is representing us really as a business and what we're doing these days. It's obviously going to make, it's going to be good for the channel by getting our name out there, and obviously we could do sort of footage with it, etc. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys, about today's dilemma, and I'll see you in another video. You take care. Cheers, guys.